A lone woman at a gas station faces a gang of bikers. What she did next was unforgettable. The quiet hum of Carla's car engine filled the air as she drove along the desolate stretch of Highway 70. It was late, and the long day weighed heavily on her shoulders. She hadn't planned to be out this late, but work had kept her longer than expected. Her only goal now was to make it home. Her playlist played softly in the background, a soothing distraction from the darkness surrounding her. As she spotted a gas station up ahead, relief washed over her. It was the only sign of civilization she'd seen for miles. The fluorescent lights illuminated the area, standing out starkly against the inky black sky. Carla pulled her grey Toyota Camry into one of the pumps, the engine's rumble fading as she turned it off. She stepped out, inhaling the warm night air tinged with the faint scent of gasoline. The station appeared deserted except for a young cashier inside, his face glued to his phone. Carla swiped her card at the pump and began refueling. She glanced around, feeling the eerie silence of the night, but she wasn't nervous, not yet. Then, faintly at first, she heard it, the distant growl of motorcycle engines. Her heart sank as the sound grew louder, closer. Within moments, 6 motorcycles roared into the station, their riders clad in leather jackets adorned with menacing patches. The bikes lined up in a row, and their engines fell silent. Carla's pulse quickened as she felt their eyes on her. She kept her gaze fixed on the gas pump, willing herself to stay calm. One of the bikers, a tall man with a scruffy beard and mirrored sunglasses, dismounted and motioned to his crew. They laughed, their voices carrying across the lot. Carla couldn't hear their exact words, but the tone was unmistakable. She felt their gaze like a weight pressing on her, but she focused on finishing her task. As soon as the pump clicked, Carla replaced the nozzle and walked toward the convenience store. The sound of heavy boots followed her, each step echoing ominously. Inside, the young cashier barely glanced up. Carla grabbed a bottle of water, paid quickly, and exited the store. Her heart raced as she saw the bikers had shifted closer to her car, blocking her path. The tall man leaned casually against his bike, arms crossed. His smirk sent a chill down her spine. One of his friends whistled mockingly. Carla's hands tightened around the bottle. She walked steadily toward her car, refusing to show fear. "Hey there, sweetheart," the tall man called out, his voice dripping with mockery. "Where are you rushing off to?" Carla didn't respond. She unlocked her car with a press of the button and climbed in, locking the doors behind her. Relief washed over her momentarily, but it evaporated when the tall man slapped the hood of her car. The sound made her jump. "Don't be rude, now," he said, leaning down to peer at her through the window. His friends chuckled, their laughter cutting through the night like shards of glass. Carla's jaw tightened. She reached for her phone on the passenger seat, her fingers trembling slightly. The tall man tapped on her window, his smirk widening. "What's the rush? Stay and chat with us." Her voice was firm but calm. "I'm not interested. Let me go." His smirk faltered for a moment before he straightened, clearly not used to being dismissed. "Lady, you've got some attitude," he said, his tone hardening. His crew surrounded her car, their presence oppressive. Carla's instincts screamed at her to act. She rolled her window down slightly and held up her phone, the screen glowing with a dialed 911. Her voice was steady as she said, "Step away from my car." The bikers paused, their laughter dying. The tall man's confident demeanor faltered. But before they could react, Carla reached into her purse and pulled out a small, metallic object. It wasn't a weapon, but it glinted under the station lights, looking convincing enough. "I'm not playing games," she said, her voice unwavering. "Leave now." The tension was palpable. The bikers exchanged uneasy glances. Then, as if on cue, the roar of an approaching truck broke the silence. An older couple pulled into the station, their headlights illuminating the scene. The bikers hesitated, their bravado cracking under the weight of witnesses. The tall man muttered a curse under his breath. "Let's go," he growled. One by one, they mounted their bikes. The engines roared to life, and within seconds, they sped off into the night, leaving Carla alone in the stillness. Her hands shook as she gripped the steering wheel, but she took a deep breath. Steadying herself, she had stood her ground and won. Carla's courage in the face of intimidation reminds us that strength, doesn't always come from physical power. Sometimes, it's about staying calm, thinking clearly, and refusing to back down. Her actions that night were not just bold, they were unforgettable. If you found this story inspiring and want to hear more tales of resilience and courage, don't forget to subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained and press the bell icon to stay updated. Join us next time for another compelling story. See you in the next chapter.